I have to wear these fucking reading glasses because I'm such a reader. I read very intensively. I read at various places around town, coffee shops and so on. I am such a reader that now at 53 years of age, I require the use of reading glasses, suffering the effects of older age. This continual consciousness of nothingness and of helplessness will eventually give a man the courage. It's like the strength, the courage, like in Wizard of Oz. The strength of a lion, the courage of a lion. Consciousness of nothingness and helplessness. Of a man, well, woman, but we know what is meant here, because there are equal opportunities in this work, equal opportunities for both men and women. Cannot read. Anyway, continuing this consciousness of nothingness and helplessness gives a man the courage, and as I have just said, the courage of a lion, to die. That is, to die not merely mentally or in his consciousness. Reading from the book here, In Search of the Miraculous, in chapter 11. But to die in fact, and to renounce actually and forever those aspects which are either unnecessary or, from the point of view of inner growth, that is to say, which hinder. These aspects are, first of all, as it says here, his false I, and false personality. There's also what is called imaginary I. And then all of the fantastic ideas about his or her individuality, will and consciousness, quote unquote, capacity to do, the will to do, powers, initiative, determination, and so on. But in order to see a thing always, and I say it in that way, always, because it's in italics, and whenever and often, and when we see it written here in italics, it means that Gurdjieff is saying something, a word or phrase, with emphasis. But in order to see, so he says here, but in order, Gurdjieff is speaking, in order to see a thing always, one must first of all see it, even if only for a second. All new powers and capacities of realization, as in, self-realization, come always in one and the same way. At first they appear in the form of flashes, as sort of say flashes of consciousness at rare and short moments. Afterwards, they appear more often and last longer even. Finally, until finally, after very long work, they become permanent. The same thing here applies to what is called awakening. It is impossible to awaken completely and all at once. All right, I will say, just as a side note, 26 years ago, that is what I did. All at once, on LSD and mushrooms, all at once. And as terrible as it was, and for my having to suffer terrible hell for that after 26 years, that is an experience that I can draw upon. And I can say, as in attest, that this is true. I did do that all at once. He's saying, what he's saying here is true. One must first begin to awaken for short moments. And then in parentheses, italics. But one must first die all at once and forever. That is written italics. In italics, because Gurdjieff is saying that with emphasis. These are actually the observations of Ouspensky, and he did write it in Search of the Miraculous about Ouspensky, and whenever he said something with emphasis, it was written in. He wrote it. It's printed here in the book, In Search of the Miraculous, as italics. But one must first die all at once and forever. Continuing. After having made a certain effort, having surmounted a certain obstacle. And obstacle, the word obstacle here can be seen as a stone blocking the entrance of the cave to self-awareness, self-realization. Having taken a certain decision from which there is no return, no going back, this would be difficult, even impossible for man, were it not for the slow and gradual awakening which precedes it. Again, continuing to read from the book here, but there are 1,000 things which prevent awakening, which keep oneself in the power of dreams. In order to act consciously with the intention of awakening, it is necessary to know the nature of the forces which keep man in a state of sleep. Another way to say that is nature of the beast. And first of all, it must be realized that sleep, in which man and also woman exist, is normal, but it is hypnotic sleep. We are all of us hypnotized, and this hypnotic state is continually maintained and strengthened. One would think that there are forces for whom it is useful and profitable to keep man. Remember, and I will say it again, he is referring to woman in the sense of real woman. So do not be deceived when he uses the word man here in the way he expresses this. one would think that there are forces for whom it is useful and profitable to keep men and women in a hypnotic state.